Making from scratch Danish at home might seem unachievable or too difficult, but today we're going to be making pumpkin cheesecake Danish, and we're going to be doing it all from scratch, refined sugar free, and guess what? It's not as difficult as you may think. So the first thing we need to do when making a Danish dough is prep the butter packet for lamination. Now that sounds fancy and difficult, but it's really not. Let me show you how to do it. We're going to take 2 sticks of butter, and I'm just going to unwrap them. They're still really cold, and that's going to make it a little bit easier for us to cut them. And I'm going to cut each of these sticks into quarters lengthwise. So this is how that's going to look. It doesn't have to be exact. Now we're going to take a sheet of parchment paper. I'm going to lay it out here on my board. And we're going to take 1 stick of butter and place it in the parchment paper, the 4 pieces. Lay them like this. Now we're going to fold the parchment up over the butter so we encase it in the parchment. And I'm just going to roll the butter out to make a square. I forgot a step. We needed to sprinkle the parchment with a little bit of flour. That helps it come off easier in the end. You don't have to do that, but it does help out. So what I'm going to do is sprinkle this side of the butter with a little bit of flour and then flip it. And then we'll sprinkle the other side with a little bit more flour. All right. Now I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm gonna just clean this up so that it makes a little bit more of a perfect rectangle. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of close. And use our knife and just clean it up a little bit. Put this over here, over here. And if you're a pastry chef, you're probably cringing. That's okay. We're doing this as a home chef. In our homes, we want it to be easy. There we go. All right. I'm gonna sprinkle it with a little bit more flour. Just flatten this out, and I'll show you what to do after that. All right, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna fold up the edges of the parchment and then we'll do our other stick of butter. You want these to be relatively the same size. They don't have to be perfect, just similar. So I'm gonna match these up and see how close we're getting. It's pretty close. I'm just gonna roll it a little bit bigger. All right, we have 2 packets of butter now that are roughly the same size. So we're gonna go put those in the refrigerator and let them chill while we work on our dough. Now we're gonna work on the dough. First, I'm gonna mix together all of the dry ingredients in a bowl. That's going to be flour, yeast, and salt. I'm just gonna give this a quick mix with a fork. Now I'm going to cut in 2 tablespoons of cold butter. Now I'm just going to use my hands to work that in until it's in about like pea-sized pieces. We're going to mix in our wet ingredients. We're going to start with our milk, our honey, then our warm water, and then we're going to add in our egg. I'm going to give this a quick mix with my fork just to incorporate everything, and then we'll bring it over to our mixer and mix it with our dough hook for about 5 to 7 minutes. That looks good. We're going to bring this over to the stand mixer. All right, so our dough is done mixing. It looks lovely. So we are going to lightly flour our surface and start rolling it out. Okay, now that we have our dough rolled out, we're gonna get our butter back out of the refrigerator and we're gonna start the lamination process. This is what makes it have all those nice flaky layers of dough once you bake the pastry. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. It's super easy. We're gonna start with our first rectangle of butter. We're just gonna attempt to get this butter off all in one piece. You want to try to get the butter off all in one sheet, but if it doesn't all come off together, that's okay. If it breaks apart a little bit, we'll just piece it back together and it's going to be totally fine. Nobody's going to be any the wiser. All right, now that we have our first butter rectangle here in the middle, we're just going to fold one end right up over it like this, and that's going to start the lamination process. Now we're going to take the second sheet of butter and we're just going to repeat this all over again. Butter gave me a lot of grief, but that's okay. We pieced it back together and it's good to go. Now we're going to fold the other side of our dough over again like this. Make sure that we're covering up all of that good butter. And we're just going to pinch all the edges closed so the butter doesn't come back out. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick. And let's roll this out again. All right, now we are going to tri-fold this like you'd fold a piece of paper to put in an envelope. So we're just going to do this. We're going to do this. And we are going to roll it out again. This is going to make all those layers and layers and layers in your dough. I'm actually going to take it off of this marble slab. It's getting a little bit too big for it. right, we're gonna try fold it one last time. All right. I'm a little out of breath from that. That was a workout. Okay, we're gonna fold it up. Again, I'm sorry, I lied. We're gonna try fold it one last time just to put it away in the refrigerator. And we're gonna chill this for at least an hour, better even if it's overnight. So now we're gonna do the cheese part of our Danish, and for that we're gonna start by whipping a softened block of cream cheese in our KitchenAid. Now we're gonna add in a 1/4 cup of maple syrup and blend it up. A splash of vanilla. Blend it up again. And a 1/4 cup of tapioca starch. And blend it up again. I'm just going to scrape this out into a bowl so I can use this mixing bowl to mix up my pumpkin mixture. We're going to put a 1/4 cup of cream cheese back into this bowl. Again, softened. And I'm going to whip this up. All right, we're gonna add in 1 cup of pureed pumpkin. A 1/2 cup of coconut sugar. A teaspoon of cinnamon. And a teaspoon of ginger. And we're gonna mix it up again. And lastly, 1 egg. Now that we have everything prepped and ready, it's time to assemble our pastries. So I'm going to flour my work surface again, and we're going to get this dough rolled out. Remember, it has been chilling for over an hour. You want to make sure you give it a good amount of time to chill in the refrigerator. All right, this looks beautiful. I'm just gonna get some of this extra flour off, and we're gonna cut this into rectangles. You could be precise and measure this if you had a ruler or something like that. I'm just gonna eyeball it. We wanna get about 12 Danishes from this recipe. So what I'm gonna do is cut it 3 times this way, and then 2 times the long way. And they don't have to be perfect. 1, 2, 3. And now we're gonna go long ways twice. 1, 2. All right, as you can see, this is not precise at all. That's okay. All right, now that we have the dough all rolled out and cut, we're gonna start assembling these Danish. The first thing we're gonna do is score the top of these, so I'm gonna show you how to do that. What we wanna do is create a space to put our filling. So we're gonna score the top, but you don't wanna go all the way down through the Danish, just most of the way. So I'd say about 3/4 of the way through this dough. And this is just so that we create a place for that filling. Like I said, it's gonna allow the outside to puff up, and then the inside is gonna stay flatter. Now I'm going to prick it here with this fork, Again, that's gonna keep it from puffing up too much and let the filling have a nice little place to rest without getting pushed out. All right, so we have that done. Now I'm gonna brush it with an egg wash. This is just 1 egg and about a tablespoon of water. Just do the outside here like this. This is gonna make it nice and golden brown. Now we're gonna do about a tablespoon of our cream cheese filling. We're just gonna spread it out. Try and keep it inside that rectangle that we cut out. Obviously it's not gonna be perfect, but close enough. Now again, about a tablespoon of our pumpkin filling. All right, that's all we have to do to assemble our Danish. Now we're just gonna finish the rest of them. We'll place them on a baking tray and bake at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown. Our pastries are out of the oven and cooling, so while that's happening, we're gonna make a quick cream cheese maple drizzle. Now, I don't really have a recipe for this. I'm just gonna do it by taste, but I'm gonna start by taking a little bit of softened cream cheese, maybe about 1/3 of a block here. And we're just gonna put it in this jar. Then I'm gonna add in some pure maple syrup, maybe about 1/4 cup. And I'm gonna use my immersion blender to just whisk this all up. Now I'm gonna add in a little bit of milk to make it more of a drizzle consistency. And again, I'm just gonna eyeball it. All right, I'm just gonna taste it to make sure it's okay. The consistency looks good, nice and drizzly. Perfect. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, let's give these a try. The layers in here are absolutely beautiful. Look at those. That lamination's beautiful. And it's nice and crispy at the bottom. All right, let's try it. Now that I've made a mess. Those are so good. Number one, you would never know it's refined sugar free. Number two, that pastry dough is so on point. It's buttery, it's flaky, it's got like a little bit of crisp on the bottom. I'm gonna make a little pig out of myself and I'm gonna eat this whole thing. It's so good. And this time of year, pumpkin and cream cheese is such a good combination. You can't go wrong. You've got to try these at home.